One key that can unlock every single phone on the planet, from the cheapest Android to the latest iPhone. It bypasses all of that and goes for the one secret component they all share. That key is real. It's called a baseband exploit, and today we're going to show you what it unlocks and how to make sure your phone's lock can't be picked. Every phone, no matter the brand, no matter the price, has one hidden component that makes it hackable. And the crazy part, you're using it right now without even thinking about it. From the smartphone in your pocket to the one your parents still use, this single component is inside all of them. It's not the camera, it's not the battery, and it's not the screen. Yet, it's the reason hackers can spy on your calls, track your location, and even listen in on you, all without you touching a thing. We all live in a world of digital threats. Phishing scams, malware, weak passwords. We know the rules of the game. But all of that is just the surface level. What if the most dangerous vulnerability in your phone isn't a bad app or a weak password, but a tiny, isolated component that you've probably never even heard of? So what is this component? It's something so essential to being a phone that without it, your device would just be a small computer. I'm talking about the baseband processor. This isn't about some obscure flaw in a specific app. This is a foundational vulnerability, a skeleton key that's in every single phone, waiting for the right person to come along and use it. Think of your phone as a small city. The main CPU is the mayor, the operating system is the city hall, managing all the day-to-day business. Your apps are the different shops and businesses. But there's one critical department that handles all communications with the outside world, the radio station. This is the baseband processor. It's a separate, dedicated chip, a completely different system from your main operating system like iOS or Android. Its sole job is to handle all wireless communication, the calls you make, the texts you send, your cellular data, even your GPS signals. It's a silent partner, working tirelessly in the background. Now, here's the crazy part. Because it's a separate system, it's often running its own proprietary operating system. Think about it. We have some idea of how iOS and Android work, but the baseband OS is a complete black box to most of us. It's a closed-source enigma created by companies like Qualcomm, Mediatek, or Samsung. And this isolation is the perfect breeding ground for a unique kind of vulnerability. A vulnerability that bypasses all the layers of security your main operating system provides. Imagine a scenario. You're walking down a street in a crowded city. Your phone is in your pocket. You haven't clicked a single link. You haven't downloaded a new app. You haven't even opened your browser. But a hacker, sitting in a car nearby with some custom-built radio equipment, sends a single, specially crafted radio signal. That signal, designed to look like a normal cellular data packet, hits your phone. But instead of being processed by your secure main OS, it's processed directly by the baseband processor. If that baseband processor has a hidden flaw, a vulnerability that hasn't been patched, it can be compromised. This type of attack is what security researchers call a zero-click exploit. No taps, no clicks, no downloads required. Your phone doesn't buzz, it doesn't freeze, it doesn't show you a suspicious pop-up. To you, nothing happens. But in reality, the attacker may already have a foothold inside your phone at the deepest level possible. This isn't just theory. This is the world of baseband exploitation. A famous example involved the security researcher who was able to gain access to a phone's baseband by exploiting a vulnerability that allowed him to make a single malicious phone call. He was able to compromise the chip and then, from there, move to the main OS, gaining full control over the device without the user ever picking up the phone or doing anything at all. This is a zero-click, hardware-level attack. It's the most dangerous kind of vulnerability because it requires zero interaction from the user. There have been numerous real-world cases. In 2022, a major vulnerability was found in a series of Qualcomm and Mediatek modems. The vulnerability was so severe, it could have allowed an attacker to completely bypass the phone's security and install malware. In 2023, Google disclosed a serious bug in the Samsung Exynos modem, which powers millions of devices. Researchers found they could take over a phone by sending a single malicious text message. This wasn't a phishing scam, it was a pure, silent attack on the baseband processor. And here's the frightening part. Many of these vulnerabilities don't get fixed quickly. Phone manufacturers have to wait for the chip makers to release a patch, then carriers test those patches, then maybe they get pushed to your device. By the time the update reaches you, months may have passed. During that gap, attackers have a golden window of opportunity. The biggest problem with these attacks is that they are extremely difficult to detect. Since the malicious code is targeting a completely different system, your main OS's security logs won't show anything. Your antivirus software won't even know it happened. This creates a problem of persistence. A baseband implant is one of the most persistent forms of malware in existence. Because it lives on a separate chip, it can survive almost anything you do to the main phone. A factory reset? Useless. The baseband's firmware is untouched. A full operating system reinstall? The implant is still there. Even a security update for iOS or Android might not patch the underlying baseband vulnerability if the chip manufacturer hasn't provided a fix. The only way to truly detect this kind of compromise is through highly specialized forensic analysis, either by examining the device's radio frequency, RF, emissions for anomalous signals, or by performing a full firmware extraction and reverse engineering, a process that costs thousands of dollars and is far beyond the reach of any normal user. It's the digital equivalent of a ghost. It leaves no fingerprints in the world you can see. So, what can you do? This is where our digital armor gets a lot more complex. First, keep your phone updated. This is not just a suggestion, it's a critical defense mechanism. Phone manufacturers and chip makers are constantly finding and patching these baseband vulnerabilities. When you get a new system update, it's not always about a new emoji or a refreshed interface. It's often about fixing a critical, hardware-level flaw that could be used against you. Second, be cautious about the devices you buy. Not all manufacturers are equal when it comes to long-term software support. Buying from a company with a strong track record of consistent, timely security updates, even for older models, is a huge factor in your safety. If you're buying budget phones that stop getting updates after a year, you're essentially leaving the back door wide open. On the other hand, companies that support their devices for 5 or even 7 years give you a fighting chance against these hidden threats. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, understand that your phone is a highly complex machine. It's not just a screen and an operating system. It's a collection of many different processors and chips, all working together. The baseband processor is a crucial part of that ecosystem, but its isolation makes it the perfect target for those who seek to exploit the hidden corners of our technology. So, what about the future? If the baseband processor is already such a big target, what happens as technology keeps advancing? The answer is, things could get even more complicated. We're moving into an era of 5G networks, and even beyond that, direct-to-satellite communication in regular smartphones. We also have a video on 5G security risks. You can see that video in the description. These advances promise faster speeds, lower latency, and global coverage, but they also dramatically expand the attack surface. With 5G, phones connect to far more types of base stations than before, including small cells in cities, private 5G networks in factories, and even experimental setups. This gives hackers more potential entry points. The very thing that makes 5G powerful, its flexibility and reach, also makes it harder to secure. Now add satellite connectivity into the mix. Companies are already rolling out phones that can send texts directly to satellites in orbit. It sounds futuristic, but from a hacker's perspective, this is a dream scenario. Why? Because the chain of communication between your phone, the satellite, and the ground station introduces new layers where vulnerabilities could hide. And remember, the baseband processor has to handle all of that. Another issue is complexity. Every time we upgrade our networks, the baseband processor becomes more sophisticated. More code, more features, more potential bugs, and the more complex the system, the easier it is for attackers to find cracks in it. So what does this mean for us? It means the importance of security by design will only grow. Manufacturers will need to rethink how much transparency they allow in their baseband firmware, and whether closed proprietary code is really sustainable in a world where billions of devices are constantly exposed to invisible signals. For regular users, it means one thing: staying aware. As phones become more advanced, the threats will evolve too. The baseband processor might be silent and invisible, but it's also one of the most critical battlegrounds in the future of cybersecurity. In the age of digital threats, the enemy is often not on the screen. It's in the unseen components, the tiny chips working silently in your pocket. The more we understand about these hidden vulnerabilities, the better prepared we are to protect ourselves. And that's where the right partners make all the difference. At Tileris, our experts work every day to uncover and neutralize these invisible risks using advanced AI-powered defense systems. If you want to know how exposed your organization really is, you can reach out to our cybersecurity specialists for a personalized consultation. Or, if you'd like to see our technology in action, you can request a demo of our AI agent and experience firsthand how it identifies and stops threats before they reach you. Because when it comes to protecting what matters most, awareness is the first step, but action is the one that keeps you safe. What's the most surprising thing you learned about phone security today? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting and fascinating videos into the tech that powers our world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.